This is one of the reasons that I love making videos on YouTube and actually talking about things with you guys is because I'm a fan. I'm a fan just like you of the things I talk about. There's really nothing I talk about that I don't care about. So when I get to hear back from someone like a game developer or someone actually working on some of the projects I talk about, it's really, really special to me and it means a lot. It's why I try and cover stuff usually respectfully. For the most part, I don't take anything I think too far unless somebody else does. That's my goal, at least. There's the occasional clowning around on people, but hey, you know, this was something that was very important to me. The other day I covered Evil Dead the game, which is very, very important to me. It's very interesting. This is one of my favorite franchises in movies, is the Evil Dead. I love the movies, I love the show, and I think that some of the games are very underrated. And when I covered my concerns on the game coming up being a multiplayer experience, and granted, we don't know if there will be any type of single player or not, but considering how it was marketed so far and how the tagline even on the official website is Evil Dead the game is the ultimate multiplayer experience and it's groovy, to me that's a little bit of a red flag in just one way, which is that multiplayer games often die. They often don't have support for long enough to keep a community going, or in the case of something like Friday the 13th, which I know is a very niche case because of its court case and everything that happened around it, the content flow stops and there is still a small community around the game, but nothing new. So those are things that I'm always concerned about when getting into a game like this, is its eventual life cycle ending. I was never expecting, though, an actual developer from Saber Interactive, which is Jules Fave, which I hope I pronounced your name right, because I literally looked it up and did my best to actually look into how this is said, responded to me on my video in the comments. He is a 3D art and technical director at Saber Interactive, one of the companies working on this game, the main company of developers working on this game. So I was never expecting to hear back from anybody about this, addressing my concerns. He responded to me and said, "Hi, I'm glad you are a fan of the Arkham series and you're excited about Evil Dead the game. We've learned a lot from PvP, PvE, and PvPvE games out there. Evil Dead the game will have very flexible game modes for different types of players, as you can go on your own or with a team. We especially care about gameplay from different points of views, combat system, exploration, and next-gen graphics. Hope you'll enjoy it, Jules." Now, this was all I was expecting to hear because I was never expecting a response at all. And I think it's really cool that Jules actually took the time out of his day to respond to my video. I'm a fairly small YouTuber. I don't have some big ego thinking I'm, a 10 million subbed channel or some kind of genius. I'm just a guy who talks about stuff that I like. And I was really impressed by this response because it's very, very rare, actually, for these companies and representatives of them to reach out to smaller creators or fans. Usually the I would say incentive, right, is to reach out to the biggest possible content creators because they're going to give you the biggest amount of free publicity. So when Jules answered me, that meant a lot to me, and I said, "Jules, thank you so much for responding to my video. I don't think I've ever had a response directly from someone who worked on a game on a video. I've talked to a few developers and development staff on projects in DMs, but never out in the open. It means a lot to me that you both saw this video and took the time to reply. I'm a huge fan of the Evil Dead IP and very interested to see where you take it. I've been a bit burned by games in the past, by some games in the past, and I was talking about, multiplayer only games, kind of like what this was looking like to me, and I can't talk, so I said, but especially with how excited to see what the final product is. Best wishes on the launch, and you can bet that I'll be there to play the game, Jay." I thought this would be the whole exchange. That would be it. There wouldn't be any more, but Jules actually took the time to respond to me again after this, which I think is really cool of him. And he said, "You're welcome, Jay. Evil Dead is a big universe offering many ways for replayability, so we focus on this. Skill tree, combat diversity, quests, seas of the locations, mobility, etc., followed by next-gen technologies, immersive forests, and lighting. Trailers just show a small part of the game, so I'm glad to hear you, and I really hope you'll enjoy what's next." Which I think, by the way, a couple things here, not to not to about face and just say, I have no concerns now, right? Because I think that would be a little disingenuous. But this does actually mean a lot to me. And I think that it says something that a developer is willing to respond to just a fan, and respectfully too. This wasn't like a punching down thing, like you don't know what you're talking about, you haven't seen the game yet, shut up. This wasn't anything like that. This was just, hey, listen, I watched your video, I heard your concerns, that makes sense. I heard you're concerned about replayability, that life cycle type stuff. We've focused on replayability being a big part of this game. So I think that that's great to hear. That's something that for me personally, maybe not for you, because I know obviously he reached out to me in the comments, but for me personally, him stepping in and saying, hey, listen, I hear your concerns, but we're focusing on replayability is a great thing to hear, because I think often a lot of these multiplayer games don't focus on that. They lose sight of that. I think it's often a release the product, monetize it as much as possible, and move on to the next multiplayer experience. One thing I will say about Saber that I did not cover in my previous video, which I probably should have just to, throw it out there, but I wanted the video to be short, was that they were also behind the World War Z game, which does still have a lot of support to this day. That's a pretty old multiplayer experience that is still actively supported. There is still a community around. So this isn't a company that just dumps their games, right? However, I do think that there is a proclivity to do that in gaming. Usually that is the easiest monetizable thing. Saber, I don't see as being guilty of that practice. So with this response and also with that background, I think it's great to hear. There are still things that I'm certainly, like just me, slightly concerned about with the life cycle of this game, and I get it. I'm a boomer in terms of gaming, right? I know that a lot of games now, the multiplayer games, you guys, not everybody, but a lot of you guys, the younger generation, does expect them to come out, you play them for a while, and you move on. It's natural that the game's life cycle eventually dies. Me, I still go back to games on the PS2, PS1, stuff like that, things that were single player, and I play through them again and again, even now in 2021. So to someone like me, when I love a game and then I eventually see it fade out of existence, it kind of hurts. I don't really want to see that. That's why I was really hoping for a single player component to this game. Now, what I'm interested to see is what the offline capabilities are of the game, if there are any, because Jules did essentially say that you have the ability to play on your own, saying that the game is flexible for different types of players, saying that you can go off on your own or play with a team, essentially, with combat diversity and quests and all this different stuff. I find that very, very interesting, and I'm interested to see what that actually means in terms of the final product. Does this response, immediately, does it take away any of my wishes for a single player or wanting to play through a story or anything like that? No, and I'm still hopeful for maybe something like that. But I think it's really cool that a developer actually took the time to respond to someone like me. I'm just a small channel. I'm not any more important than anybody in the comments or anybody else. Just a fan of the Evil Dead. I guess in conclusion, I'm very impressed by Jules here. I'm very impressed by the team at Saber Interactive and what they're doing and responding to fans like me who are no more important than anyone else. I think that's really awesome, and it really does help reinforce my faith in the game and in the team and what they're doing, and I'm very excited to see what's next. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content. YouTube has been kind of hiding a lot of my videos recently, I've noticed, and not showing them to people, so your continued watch viewership and support and stuff like that, it really means a lot, and I love hearing back from you in the comments down below. Have a fantastic day. The links are all in the description down below. As always, the secondary channel where we play through a wide variety of games, podcast style, hanging out with you, Degenerate Plays, is there as always, and we'd love to see you over there. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shway.